right, thank you for coming to our, can you hear me? Yeah. Our presentation, so this afternoon, well, I think you probably expect the unexpected, because obviously there are some stuff that you might have heard about, and then we kind of put a couple of new elements on the table. Maybe before starting, I would like to give you some information about the company, because some of you maybe just are not aware of what we have done so far. Yeah. So this is the bunch of the people working with us, and our job is really to design and build interactive dark rides. So we are doing dark rides, we live dark rides, we are just doing that. I mean, interactivity is really what created the company and what is really making your life enjoyable every day. And yeah, all right, so it started in 2001, so we are there for 15 years. We'll go like this, it will be easier, okay? So 2001, we started up, and then we had a big chance to, in 2008, to really launch the first media or mixed media interactive dark ride, just weeks before Toy Story Mania, just for a little, the little story here. But since then we have installed 50 dark rides installed since that moment, and in 2011 we had the big chance to have the trust and the confidence of Phantasialand and introduce the Mousse au Chocolat ride that made made our life very enjoyable over the last year, and made the life of some of our competitors equally enjoyable, because there have been a lot of those rides sold around the world. In the 2016 we are now changing a little bit our approach, and we are producing now some dark ride fully turnkey, whereas before we used to focus mainly on the interactivity, I would say the technology behind the rides. So some milestones again. We can see that. We recognize some faces which are in the audience. Basically we try to celebrate the people that we have been working with, and we are. So we made last year some, we call it Interactive Pioneer Awards. So just to kind of thank all the people that are pushing the interactivity in the parks. Now, about our activity. No, I don't know if you will notice that I'm just using this just to make you wait a little bit before I'm announcing exactly what I was about to talk to you. So it's on purpose, sorry about that. So again, we are designing, we do a lot of different type of interactivity, so the shooting obviously, but also the show control management, media, the projection, video mapping. We really try to focus on the experience. Just to sum up this slide, we don't care too much about the technology, to be honest. We are a technology-driven company, but actually technology is just a way to get to the objective, which is really to create superior experience. So a couple of rides that we have been associated with. You can see that we have some shooting rides, but also some interactive water rides. Simple. You might recognize also Comic Station that was opened last year, and other famous ones. And again, all type of sizes. You can see like Phantasialand on that hand, but also you can recognize much smaller footprint, some interactive theaters, some dual-link theaters. Basically everything that is interactive interests us, and we try to bring the best of our technology in there. Okay, some of our customers. So basically Merlin Entertainment is one of the very big customers we have. Compagnie des Alpes, Six Flags, through our friends from Sally, Parques Reunidos. So that was about what we are and what we did. Just a couple of numbers now, and maybe some stuff what happened during the elapsed month. We were blessed to install the 7th Justice League ride on thanks to our friends from Sally. And this ride is really, compared to the 6 first one, were really an interesting one, because that's a ride that we are really bringing a lot of the new technology available on the market. Like, for instance, you have projection mapping on animatronics, you have an interactive fog screen, we have now screens up to 16 million pixels, I mean, so it's becoming really huge. And also in the new one, we are changing the storytelling from one ride to another. So I'll try to play a video, I hope it will work. It doesn't. Alright, so that's I don't know, can you see it? I mean, because I have, so that's I mean, the quality of the video is not great because it's a typical POV, and then, but you can recognize the Justice League, and that's the one installed in California this year, and then it features all the new advanced and the new technologies. So here, so far, I mean, if you are familiar with the 6 first ones, I mean, it will look a bit deja vu, but I mean, here we go. I mean, all of this is totally interactive, obviously. You can see the control of the vehicles. I mean, you see some special effects like fire. I mean, all of that comes from, can be handled by our system. But this is interesting. You can see there is a truck there. The truck is moving, and actually we project on the truck, and the truck is reacting to the shoots. So this is something very, very new. You see a lot of action, a lot of 3D effects. Here we go. I think what is quite incredible now is that, I mean, no offense for Six Flags, but the regional park can enjoy rides of that caliber thanks to the work of Sally, for instance. It's very impressive. Here you have a fog screen, interactive fog screen. So, I mean, you don't need a real screen to add some interactivity to it. And all the screens you see there, they're huge, and they are actually shaped like you know, some strange shapes, so that they are providing a maximum immersivity into the ride. So this typically adding this level of interactivity is what we like to do, and we like to be involved in such a big and you know, endeavoring project. Sorry, PowerPoint. Yeah. Okay. Now another interesting number you might you know, get from this presentation is that we are at the moment installing our 20th interactive Dark Ride at Lego Discovery Center. So that's I think when we signed the first one a couple of years ago, I didn't expect to be at that level of that magnitude, and so. All right. So I think we can say that today it's probably the world's most sold interactive Dark Ride. And we have one which is called Kingdom Quest that we installed 19 times. And now we have a new one which is called Lego City, which is, and what is the fun part of that is that it's extremely affordable, but you use the same infrastructure, you use the same target group, you have the same target group, but you can create a new experience. And our next milestone is 30 rides. So actually we got orders already to get to about half of that, and then we expect to reach that 30 rides mark before 2020. All right, just to give you a glimpse, this is the kind of ride, it's very simple. Again, the POV, and maybe the person doing it was a little bit too excited, so I mean, it's shaking a bit. I will spare you the whole ride, just look at a couple of scenes so that you can have an idea of what it looks like. Now, typically this is the kind of work we like because it is really adapted to what people want to get. I mean, this is a simple design, this is simple theming, but it's efficient. And this is what people want to get. I mean, it's not about equipment, it's just about the experience and making sure that the kids love it. So you can see a very strange storytelling, but I mean, it's effective. And actually they can move their old Kingdom Quest, actually we're still installing a lot of Kingdom Quest, but I mean, they can change it to that one and with a minimum change in the infrastructure. I mean, the teaming obviously need to change, but for the rest it's pretty similar in terms of setups. So you can see bubbles and everything. All right, and amongst those, just for the work we are doing today, we are currently installed 8 other interactive dark rides right now. So basically, you can add. We are busy doing between 10 and 12 dark rides every year, which is to tell you how big this market became. I don't think that there are a lot of companies besides it that can handle so many openings every year. But I mean, it shows also that this genre is really moving very fast, and that's really a very good news. Now, we introduced some other concept. All right, some production addition and upgrades as we name. I mean, there's a little controversy on this one, but okay, we designed this a couple of years ago, and we have some, different opinion about the innovation behind it. But I mean, basically, we have been doing some improvement to our rotating platform, making it a ride like this. The original idea was to have a ride that was a small footprint, having a high throughput, and we worked on that concept. Now this concept is interesting, but actually it's it's a nice product, and you might see it as a nice product, but actually it's a big challenge in terms of gameplay. And I'll get to that in a second, because the way we solve this gameplay issue is by simply, changing the card and starting back from a totally empty drawing board, a blank sheet, and then we created this new concept, which is the Erratic Ride. And Erratic is the trademarked name because it's not the Erratic Ride. Actually, we are talking about a new way to do interactive dark rides. Now, if we're looking at the first version of the Erratic Ride, which is a limited footprint ride, 300 square meters, you see that it addresses exactly the same requirements of the platform. Simply, you can see that instead of using a platform that rotates, we have vehicles which are moving back and forth into a central dispatch area, and that can be dispatched to a scene, one or other scenes based on a couple of variables that can be defined by users, but can be defined also by the show control. Oh yeah. So it's a bit an accelerated version of it, but you can see the fun behind it. Whoops, here we go. You have one vehicle unloading. It's accelerated, it won't happen that fast, but okay, otherwise we would... and you can see it. Whoops, this one is punished. He will stay a little bit longer in the dispatching area. Whoops. This is what we call erratic. This is the first. There will be other versions. This is a compact version, but then there will be a version for a larger footprint, or a different type of setups, because basically the Erratic Ride has a big advantage is you don't need to have a loop. You can really have, like dead ends and then you just throw someone in a dead end and bring it back into the ride afterwards. So I mean, basically it opens a lot of possibilities for new rides design. It is a big challenge in terms of storytelling, because it doesn't start at one station and finish at another. I mean, there are variations. So I mean, the storytellers will have to work much harder in setting up the rides, but I think it will be for the great joy of all the people using it. Now, based on, if you compare that to the previous versions and the other type of compact ride, this one is the beauty, is that the transitions between one scene to another become a moment of enjoyment. Whereas when you were rotating a table, well, the transition was a difficult moment to, you know, to accommodate, because basically it kills a little bit the action. In this case, the action can be enhanced by the movement of the vehicle. Also, a very interesting element is the scene 5. You can see it's much longer, so actually you can play with different timing in different scenes based on the result of what the players are achieving. So you can have acceleration and deceleration. And this ride is really getting to the core of our belief for the Dark Rides. We believe that the Dark Ride is a story, is all about motion, all about moving people from one story to another, from one emotion to another. And that's the reason why we try to break this code of having it linear and having it at a slow pace, which is always the same. We try to change that because we believe that by changing this, we change the way people really are enjoying and will be enjoying the ride. Now, the beauty also of that ride is that it's affordable, and it's probably the best way to get a great ride that will be actually almost taking some of the key advantage of the very big ride like at Disney, etc. Of course, not with the same ambition, but at a price that people can afford, and it is also our ambition, as we had done before with Monsieur Chocolat. Now, in order to do this ride, we had to find a good vehicle system, and we have a chance to have made 30 rides with our friends from ETF. And therefore, it was a natural choice to go for the multi-mover vehicle from ETF, which are trackless, and which the two companies are collaborating in order to make it, efficient movement that will be actually controlled by the general show control. So actually, this is a first generation, and this is a pretty unique combination. I mean, it will be very hard for the other people to find that on the market, because you need to have this unique specificity of this ride system, and the unique specificity of that part here of the Salto system in order to achieve this result. Obviously, this ride comes with the 4D shooting. We'll be able to do video mapping, as you can see that in the Justice League, special effects and everything. And then for the guns, I mean, you know that life now is full of choice regarding guns. I mean, basically, the interactive device will be the most efficient one at the moment, which is the what we call the shooting device. I mean, we don't know yet the shape of the first one, but I mean, we are working on that, and there is a vast choices of shapes and sizes. Now, where will that be installed? I mean, I think you have already the answer, but I mean, we were lucky not only to have the ride, the concept. We had the chance to have a partner to make it. We had the chance to have, at least our way of doing it, protected. And we have the chance to have someone that actually will install it. And, well, that's with our neighbors. And so we were very happy to have the trust of Compagnie des Alpes and Walibi. And this will be the place where we will be happy to demonstrate it, and then to see people enjoying it. So that will be for the spring 2019. So we have a bit of time, but it will be also a pretty long process to have it perfectly operated. We don't want to do a half-cooked version of it. Now, what kind of content will be played there? Or maybe first I'll do a little recap of the Erratic Ride. I mean, obviously you have some hints about what I'm going to say afterwards. So that's the first non-linear interactive ride on the market. It's, I mean, at least the way we perceive it. Now, again, I don't want to steal any innovation from other people. We believe it will be world-class in specifically an affordable solution, and then it will feature, well, the Popcorn's Revenge, which is one of the IP we are working on at the moment. We do not have yet a movie to show you about the popcorn, so you need to take my word for it. The idea is the following: you go to the movie, you eat popcorns. No, this time the popcorns were fed up being eaten by the people going to the movie, and so they decide to break free. And so basically in this ride, you will have to chase back crazy popcorns that decided to be, the Brad Pitt of the popcorn world and other type of stuff. And so that will be the chase you're going to do in a way totally unpredictable, because that's the erratic, what the erratic is all about. That was the little news I had for you guys. So, if you have any question, feel free. Martin.
Can you talk a little bit more about the non-linear part? Could the ride be 3 minutes for one car and 2 minutes 40 seconds for another car, or is it?
Yes, technically yes. Okay, practically also. The fact is that it will all be about visitors' expectation management, I would say. You can't create a story without a beginning and without an end. This is important. And you cannot make a story too short, otherwise it will be too little for people. We got a lot of questions regarding punishment of people, which obviously we don't believe. So yes, we will be able to change maybe one or two ways. But this is not where the magic will be. The magic really will be the non-predictability of the experience. So you might get out of this ride and your friends waiting for you, asking you what you did, and actually they will not live the same experience. And that's really what we are looking after. So no ways to hint another guy, say, do that, because they can't.
You mean the gameplay is different?
The gameplay will be the same, but the way the scenes are organized will be different, and what will happen will be different as well. Any other question? You're shocked. Now, all of this, you're going to see more details coming up in the coming months. It's still the beginning of this stuff. We're working on it for years, but a lot of details will get around IAP, I believe, that you will see more and more. We have a couple of animations, but feel free to ask if you feel a bit too short on the information.
Did you say the size? How much square meters it will be, or
the first compact version will be 300 square meter. The idea is to have it in mainly an existing facility. Or a family entertainment center could have this kind of ride. That's the purpose. Why 300 square meter? Okay, because it's a number that people tend to like. We have seen, especially in some Asian countries. There are spaces at a premium, and they like to have something pretty much compact. But it doesn't mean that it can't be bigger. We can have version that will be bigger in the future. All right, thank you very much.